Good morning, Europe. Good afternoon, Manila, and welcome to this webinar on the Philippine real estate sector, organized by the EU Philippines Business Network and the British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. My name is Jonas Selin, and I will be your moderator for today's session. Philippine real estate sector, one of the booming industries in the country right now. And we will hear a quick overview of the economy and also of the sector itself, followed by a couple of testimonials from entrepreneurs from the industry. So before going to the bulk of the program, I would like to say a few words about the organizers, us as the EU Philippines Business Network. And so moving on to that, the EPBN, as we are called. Actually, before getting ahead of myself, the agenda for today. After my introduction, I'll be presenting our three speakers. After which we'll hear the presentations, and to wrap it up, we'll have a Q&A session wherein you'll have the chance to get the questions answered. Please type in your questions to the chat box during the presentation. So now then, going on to the to EPBN. So we are a EU co-founded partnership of 8 chambers of commerce and business organizations operating here in Manila. And what we do is that we promote increasing the exports and investments from all EU member states to the Philippines. And on the one hand, we do that through advocacy and market access, meaning making the ride smoother for EU companies to operate in the country. And on the other hand, we are engaged in what we call the EU outreach and business support services. And this webinar, of course, is part of that, talking about the opportunities in the Philippines, and then also being ready to handhold new companies to enter the market. The 8 partners that I was referring to are the Belgian, the British, the European, the French, German, Italian, Spanish, and the Nordic business councils and chambers of commerce here. And this webinar we are doing in cooperation specifically with the British Chamber. Introduce our first speaker. We have Sheila Lovien, the National Director and Head of Project Leasing from Jones Lang LaSalle. And Sheila will give us an overview of briefly of the Philippine economy, and then digging a bit deeper into the real estate sector. So please, Sheila, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Yuna, for that introduction. I'll talk about the real estate market overview. Here are some key economic facts on the Philippines. When you talk about the Philippines, you will hear about the call center industry. The Philippines right now is the #1 call center industry in the world, and second to India in terms of the BPO industry. So what are the key economic facts about the Philippines? In terms of population, we have 100 million people now, and the labor force is around 41 million. The average age is around 22 years old. This is the people who will be employed by the call center industry and other businesses in the Philippines. In terms of literacy rate, we have 97.5%. Our GDP also is the highest compared to other Asian neighbors. Last 2013, it was recorded at 7.2%, highest in the region as of today. Here is the ease of doing business in the Philippines. Some scorecard for European companies and other companies who are abroad and who would like to enter the Philippine market. in terms of ease of doing business in 2014. So from 133, the rank, now it's 108. So there is an improved in terms of the ease of doing business. Of course, there are still a lot of ways for us to improve this ranking. However, the current administration has a very good perception, and you'll notice that the Philippines right now, we're able to get all the credit ratings from Moody's, S&P, Fitch, and that helped in the growing BPO and call center industry here in the Philippines. Here's okay, so it's really more fun in the Philippines. Some key takeaway here from this slide. A lot of call centers, a lot of companies are outsourcing their business in the Philippines primarily because of the Filipino people. So the Philippines has a lot of, almost everyone here speak English, and that is very important. The culture also is very adaptive to the American market. That's why big bulk of the outsourcing industry, bulk of the business is really coming from the US. And now we're seeing a lot of European companies entering the market as well as companies from Australia. And that's because they said the attrition rate in the Philippines is very low. And at the same time, the Filipinos are very easy to deal with. They're hardworking, and the cost of labor is still very attractive. A lot of these companies are coming in the Philippines because labor cost, they said, is just 25% compared to doing it elsewhere, say in the US or in Europe. So they save a lot in the labor and the employment cost of doing business in the Philippines. In terms of credit rating, you'll notice that the Philippines already have a positive and stable perception. We have Moody's, S&P, and Fitch, like what I've mentioned earlier. The real estate office market, very close to my heart. This is what we do every day. You'll notice that in 2014, the supply that entered the market is at 520,000 square meters of office space, or 5.2 million square feet. As of today, we've already seen 500,000 square meters of office space absorbed and taken in the market, and we still have about 3 months to go. If you look at the supply side, in 2014, what was supplied is around 600,000 square meters of office space, or 6 million square feet. In the market today, the increase in supply is about 30%. So we are, from now until end of the year, you'll see around 800,000 square meters of office space that will be supplied and that will enter the market. And as we speak, as of July 2015, 70% of the supply is already absorbed and taken. And that shows that a lot of companies are very confident about the market. They're taking space, they're signing, and the office space take-up is always a good indicator of the confidence of these corporations, of these multinational firms in the Philippine economy. Just to show you the current recorded demand versus the future supply. So if you're an occupier, big firms like Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Coca-Cola, all the big brands, and if you want to consolidate your space or move from one city to another, you have to plan a year or two in advance for these occupiers to be able to get the best location, the best spot at a very good term. You'll see that in 2016 alone, as we speak, 33% of the office supply in the market is already committed, meaning a lot of companies have already signed the contract, paid deposit for a building or for an office space that will be available next year. And again, this will tell you that there is confidence in the market, and these big companies are willing to sign and commit and pay for a space that they haven't even seen. Unlike 3 years ago, pre-commitments is not common, and a lot of big firms would usually plan like 3-6 months ahead, or they will still look at the building before they even sign and pay for anything. So what are the demand drivers? If you look at this pie chart, you will notice that bulk of the demand is really coming from the outsourcing industry. 70% of that is coming from the BPO call center industry, and then the rest would be divided into manufacturing, gaming, advertising industry. In terms of location, the benefactor of the demand in the office market are the Makati Business District, Fort Bonifacio, which is very near Makati, Ortigas, and the others are spread all over the other business districts. This is JLL top picks, the next wave cities. We've indicated more or less 10, 12 provincial areas, and this is because of the booming outsourcing and offshoring industry in the Philippines. The companies right now are moving towards cities or provinces wherein they can tap the labor market to save on the labor costs and at the same time be the first in each location. You'll notice that a lot of these companies are going to these locations to capture a cheaper labor market and at the same time be able to have a second site. So this is like their backup operation once they already have a big operation in the CBD or Metro Manila area. Going to the residential market, a lot of our clients are asking if there's a bubble or there's an overheat in the condominium market, and we say no because the biggest driver of the demand at the moment is the growing outsourcing industry, the overseas Filipino workers who are remitting millions or billions of peso every year, and the growing middle class. So bulk of these condominiums are targeting the mass market or the middle market, the people working in the call center industry. And these are the two main drivers of all these. The offshoring and outsourcing industry, which is last 2014 is already at 18 billion US dollar, and the OFW remittances is a 22 billion US dollar industry. These two pillars of the Philippine economy alone are able to sustain the growing real estate market in the Philippines. And we see no slowing down because there is demand. All the office space that is entering the market is being taken, and the condominiums that are entering the market also is being absorbed by the market. In terms of estimated average capital values, you'll notice that the price per square meter of the condominium units in the Fort or in the BGC area, which is a former military camp, is the highest at the moment because there are still a lot of land to develop. A lot of developers are putting their projects in the area. We already have 6-star hotels there, the likes of Shangri-La, Grand Hyatt, Ascot, and half of the city is still not developed. So they're able to command higher price per square meter because the projects are new and the projects are high-end. Unlike in Makati, wherein it is the first business district, but the rate is not that high compared to Fort Bonifacio because the land is limited and not so many projects are entering the market as we speak. And here's the residential market outlook. We say that there is a supply overhang, but in the short term, but as the market continue, we feel that all these supply will be absorbed and taken. And again, there's a stable OFW remittance, and the outsourcing and offshoring industry will continue to grow. The business process outsourcing industry have forecast that in 2016, the revenue that will come from the outsourcing industry will be more than the revenue that the overseas Filipino workers are bringing in the country. If we talk about the hospitality market or the hotel industry in the Philippines, again, because of the booming real estate industry, we have seen a big growth in the number of rooms that is entering the market. In 2015, we have recorded 4,000 units or 4,000 rooms alone. Bulk of the hotel that entered the market are located in Fort Bonifacio. So like what I mentioned earlier, you have Shangri-La, Grand Hyatt, and Ascot. And in the next 3 years, you'll notice that we have more than 10,000 units, hotel rooms that will enter the market. And this is because most of the supply are coming from the Bay Area, the casino area. Again, this is the tourism industry that the Philippines will still have to develop. In 2014, we got only 4 million, 4 million visitors in the country, and that's just half of 1% of the whole tourism visitors that Asia Pac have received. So there is a lot of room for us to grow in the tourism industry, and all we need in the Philippines right now is continued improvement in infrastructure, airports, roads, the traffic, etc. But it's always more fun in the Philippines because the companies, the big multinational firms are coming here because of the great talent, affordable labor, and the quality of Filipino workers that they get. And and there are a lot of big firms right now, the likes of JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Wells Fargo. All the big banks are already outsourcing their business in the Philippines, employing thousands of employees and helping the Philippine economy grow. Um, and this is just a slide showing what we've done in the Philippines. JLL is the largest real estate advisor in the Philippines. We've helped almost 70% of the building owners in the country in coming up with a project that will be absorbed by the market. And at the same time, we've also represented 60% of the outsourcing companies who are currently present in the Philippines. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sheila, for that macro overview of the industry and also the real estate sector. Now we've heard the overview of the real estate sector and its opportunities for as an example of what we are doing next. I'd like to quickly mention WorldBex and the EU Pavilion that we are putting together at the one of the largest building and construction expositions in Asia. So we are bringing European SMEs to participate in an EU Pavilion at WorldBex in March next year, and that will that's our way of also supporting and promoting new entrants to the market. So if you're interested in participating, please contact us directly. And that brings our webinar to an end. I'd like to thank our experts and speakers for their contributions and sharing their insights, and also all the participants for sharing your morning or afternoon with us. Thank you very much.